Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here on Watchbox Reviews. I'd really appreciate it, and then I can deliver my best to your inbox on a daily basis. Every watch, every minute, right here on Watchbox Reviews. And if you like the watches, you can buy them. They're on our website, thewatchbox.com, the internet's largest single-source repository of late-model pre-owned luxury and vintage timepieces. Buy, trade, or sell on thewatchbox.com. So today we're talking about Schaffhausen's other watchmaker. That's right, we're not talking about the big IWC firm across town, rather the small and remarkably vertically integrated H. Moser Cie. Now, refounded in the mid-2000s and since 2012 under the management of MELB Holdings, a mid-sized group run by the watchmaking Milan family. This company has finally delivered on all of the early promises of its design, manufacturing capability, and in-house calibers. This is a watch that absolutely sizzles. What is it? Well, it's the Endeavour Central Second, a 40.9mm pink gold timepiece manually wound with a 7-day power reserve that incorporates a number of successful styling elements that are distinctive of Moser. So this is one that's not afraid to be different. So just under 40mm across the case, not including the crown. The watch is reasonably slim, though not an ultra thin by any means, 11mm thick with a concave bezel. You'll find it does slide underneath dress cuffs, sleeves included. Lug to lug, the watch has a decent span for a modern watch to give it wrist presence, but not so much that it'll dwarf a small wrist. It measures 47.8mm across the wrist. 20mm is the spacing between the lugs, so if you wish to accessorize, that's your size target. Now the watch does have a satisfying heft about it because the case is fairly deep and entirely in gold. You hold it on your wrist, you hold it in your hands, and it is a gratifying kind of heft. You know where money has been spent here. But there's a lot more to this watch than the exterior. Moving down the strap, you can see it's a rectangular scale alligator leather in a medium brown with a semi-gloss finish. You can see it actually has a folded edge and a monotone stitch, and then on the underside calfskin, supple against the wrist, and a simple rose gold pin buckle that is Moser signed and nicely double finished. Vertical satin on the side. You can see it has a linear satin finish across the top as well as a polished bevel. If they devote that much attention to detail to a small component like the buckle, notice the cleft in the character line down the center of the profile. There's even a little bit of a kink and faceting there. This is impressive. Does it get better? Oh, you better believe it. All of the promise implied by an over-designed pin buckle is realized in the profiling of the case and the dial. Let's start with the case. You can see it features gorgeous scalloped profiles and a contrast between the polished mirrored surfaces of those scalloped interiors and the vertical striation of the satin finish of the case band. Concave bezel, you can see there's satin finish vertical between the lugs as well as polished lug tops. The crown is a little bit unconventional. It has a bit of a vintage onion-style aviator's profile to it. Even that is distinctive, and as you can see, Moser signed. So you can see the dial. And you know that Moser is all about the gradient dials. They even have their own term for it, fume, a combination of metallic elements and a gorgeous gradient. There are different shades, colors, textures. We may as well start from the outside and work our way in. All applied and diamond polished pink gold indices. You can see they're larger at the four corners, double index at 12 with enlarged indices at 3, 6, and 9. Gorgeous Lancet style counterweighted seconds hand and leaf or foil style hands for hours and minutes. And I want to show you just how beautifully extended that minutes hand is. That is a proper length minute hand. The dial is sort of an argent or silver at center and then almost black at its outer periphery, but I can see shades of violet, green, bronze, and gold in that gradient. And as you move it through the light, the sunburst texture on top of the gradient does phenomenal things. It tricks the eye. You can get lost in this dial and you'll never want to find your way out. Even the script, H. Moser Cie, perhaps a bit John Hancock in that it's highly stylized and oversized, but it's charming because the entire watch is a little bit offbeat. Turn it over and we speak of beats in an entirely different sense. 18,000 vibrations per hour, you have a traditional slow-beating big balance. The escapement, that is the pallet and the anchor, are both of Moser's own design and fabrication. They own their own small parts company called Precision Manufacturing, and they make the small parts that go into the escapement. 14-karat gold pallet as well as lever. You'll also note that the balance is big, proprietary, free-sprung, and sits on an overcoil hairspring of Moser's own design and fabrication. Full balance bridge and a platform escapement. You can pull the whole thing out, and the balance, the escapement, the entire assembly comes out, so a serviced module can be placed straight in, dramatically reducing service time so you can get your watch back faster. Now, the overcoil helps the watch to beat concentrically, hairspring-wise, in any position with respect to gravity, so it helps the watch keep better time in any orientation with respect to the earth, on your wrist or on your dresser. The full balance bridge makes it a little bit more shock resistant, and the free-sprung balance architecture compounds the advantage of the bridge, making it still more shock resistant. 8-day power reserve with a case-back power reserve indicator. Of course, when you wind the watch, you can see that power reserve scale slowly climbs toward maximum wind. Now, I said 8 days. It's rated as a 7-day, but the dirty little secret, and I consider this to be under-promising and over-delivering, but the dirty little secret is that it will actually run for 8 to 9 days when fully wound. They just say it keeps best time for 7. 26 joules, adjusted in 6 positions, which is chronometer busting, as most chronometers are only adjusted in 5. You can see there are chatons setting the arbors and the pivot joules for the twin mainspring barrels, so chaton set pivot joules, which are absolutely gorgeous and add to the medley of colors and textures. A different take on Côte de Genève. Perhaps since we're in the German-speaking region of Switzerland and they don't want to fly the flag for the Frenchies over in Geneva, our Côte de Genève are unconventional. Double-crested. You can see the pattern is distinctive and rarely seen. You'll see this on Moser, for example, and something a little bit like it on Grunefeld, but this is a scarce approach. All of the screws are beautifully executed with black polished heads. You will not be disappointed by any aspect of the engineering or the finish of this movement. This is a watch that puts it all together. A niche brand owned and safely ensconced within the financial security of a larger mid-size watch holding company. So a small brand with the money to do big things and do right by its clients. Production between about 1,000 and 1,500 a year. So in a lot of ways, Moser is almost like the German-Swiss FP Journe in terms of innovations, vertical integration and in-house manufacturing, as well as low volumes and a willingness to do things differently and be a little quirky. If you want to be a little bit offbeat and you love German-Swiss watchmaking, but you want to walk beyond the norm while staying in the bounds of Schaffhausen, by all means, consider the other watch manufacturer from Schaffhausen, H. Moser & Cie, and this Endeavour Central Second.